everybody, or whoever is watching, whoever. Just the notification is going to go out. Today we're back with our live streaming show, the Pulpit Life, Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021. Imagine 2021 is coming to an end. It's going to be 2022 in just about what 1 month, 1 week. It's amazing. Time flies. Okay, so our sound looks like it's cooperating. It's working well. Thank you. I know Manu is watching and checking it out, which is amazing. Okay, so today we're continuing where we left off. I was thinking of these videos, and I know we don't have a huge audience, right? We don't even have a big audience. We have a very small audience of people who know me personally, right? Because we don't, like, we did some marketing online and we picked up some views and stuff of the videos, but we haven't really pushed the live stream as a trending thing as yet. We're not ready for that. We're gonna do that. What we're doing right now, the rest of this year, and for instance, the video started in October. I think I started, or was it September? Maybe October. On a daily, that's what I mean, on a daily basis. We started the Future Stars Media Company since last year, actually, when we had some shows and then COVID shut us down. We had this big green stage that we did everything on, and decided to go into a small studio and this talk show style of this new media, which we're working on. We have a plan, and it's actually on track. That next year we're rolling this out, very early next year, possibly by the end of this year. We're rolling this out as a full-time 24/7 live stream channel online and through our website as well, futurestarsmedia.com. But that's our goal, and our goal here is for the rest of this year. What I'm doing is these live videos are being recorded and stored for the future as we roll out the Pulpit Life, which is a program, it's not really a course, it's a program, a year-long program for people who want to be designing their future, designing their life, and authoring their future, and living up to their possibilities. And so these videos, we're gonna have them. So now we're not pushing for people to watch them live, although we want you to. And if you have friends, share the video. I please share the video. It's an hour long. People don't have much time for these things these days. Even to read a good book, people don't have time. But that's the world. That's why we want to change things, right? We want to bring about a new paradigm where the people we care about, at least the people close to us, that we take life seriously. And I mean, we have fun and we joke around, and you don't take life seriously and go out your day in an intensity. You go out having fun and light, but life itself, you put effort into it and intentionally, you live with intention, right? And so these videos are going to be there when people ask what the Pulpit Life is all about, or how do you go about designing your life, what does it take to do that, and how, what do you mean when you say author your future, or like we talked about yesterday with our formula, our business formula, which is the business model that we hand on to you once you join our program. CMQ, creative message multiplied by community media multiplied by cooperative money, and you have your formula, and we'll work you through that whole system so that at the end of the year you come up with not only a message that you give to the world, which is your vision and your purpose and your passion, but also the media platform to make it a global presence, and also a sustainability factor in there, which is based on membership and subscriptions and royalties and passive income and lifelong income and all those things. So that's what we talked about yesterday, right? We talked about that a lot yesterday and Friday. Today we want to move beyond that into, so these videos are so people would go back to these videos when they ask us, what is the Pulpit Life all about? What do you mean by this thing? Like, is it just a catchphrase or a brand, or does it have some substance to it, right? And we can point people to these videos and say, go on YouTube, go in our archives, go in our website, go in our on Facebook, on Twitter, and all over the place where these videos are aired. I even have Instagram. I never watched the Instagram video. If you see it, please tell me if it's there. But we have a whole bunch of channels, 20-something channels that we or streaming to, Twitch and all those things, including Discord and everything. But I never check those things. I really should, or we should get, I should get Shanti to check them, one of our team members. But today I want to move beyond the formula, the business model that we have for how you can design your life, right? But the point I want to make is that these videos are being made now, and we'll have by the end of the year about 50 or more videos, actually close to 70. And these videos people can go back to and watch and know what we're all about, know what we're talking about, right? The background to things, so we don't have to regurgitate the whole system again for whoever comes into the company and sit and explain to them. It's all there, right? But of course we have workbooks, and we have a book coming out called The Qualped Life. So the book is of course based on this talk show, and the book are linked, right? They're the same thing. It's The Qualped Life. What is The Qualped Life all about? That's what these videos are about. That's what the book is going to be about. We're going to have a course on it. We're going to have merchandise on it. So we really want to make The Qualped Life kind of a popular thing, but in terms of not just branding, more importantly, a lifestyle that actually delivers for you the design life. How do you go about authoring your life? Because that's what we promise in the world, that we can give you a system, including our business model, CMQ, and also the 4 pillars, the 4 W's, right? Wealth, wellness, worthiness, and wisdom. So the 4 W's, the business model formula, we have a system, and we want to make that system as popular as possible and reach as many people as we can. My goal is at least 1 million people around the world within the next, say, 5 years or so. Whether we achieve that or not is not the point. The point is that's our intention. That's how we're setting out to live our life every day. And of course, our big goal. And if you're new to the show, you might think some of these ideas are weird. But even if you're a constant guest to our show, I'm sure you think some of my ideas at least are weird and outlandish and out of this world. But I'm an alien, so what can I say? But anyway, I'm joking, right? The ideas that we come up with are, I lost my train of thought. The ideas that we come up with for the Qualped Life are based on research and based on the scientific way of looking at things, even brain research, and we delved into this guy's Daniel, what's his last name? I forget, the brain surgeon who wrote this book on the plasticity of the brain and all those things. So it's based on scientific research, and so we want. I got back my thought. Our big goal is over, say, the next, I don't know how long it's going to take, depends how the world moves, right? Because a lot of these things are contextual. We can have the world of good ideas and plans and resources even, which we don't have as yet. We're still working on building up the kind of resources that we need. We have a technology startup company, but because what we do is delve into the future of the book, which is not a space within the startup community that resonates with a lot of venture funders and the innovation community. Here in Oshawa, where I live, this city, our company is a part of the innovation community, but they were not even understanding the kind of thing we talk about when we talk about the future of the book, because everybody's thinking technology is something that is easy and quick and fast, and not reading books. Not even reading books, but engaging with books. That's what we're talking about. That books should be smart and simple. And in the internet age, there's no reason the smartest device ever invented by man, which is the book, is pushed aside. So we're talking about the future of the book. And my big goal, that's what I'm talking about here. But that's not what the show is about. I'm just saying as a side thing. Our big goal is that every human being in our generation should be able and equipped and empowered to write and publish their book. And we invented a system to make that happen, which is called Qualped Life. And the technology that we have for that book, which is digital, is called SimsBook, which is basically an very updated version of ebooks. But of course, it's a digital platform, but it's not at all in any shape or form an ebook. SimsBook. So I just wanted to say that we're making these videos to lay out the philosophy, the ideas, the plans behind the qualified life. Well, when we say the qualified life, what do we talk about? So when we roll out our course, which is a 1-year course, and it's expensive, but it's a 1-year course, and merchandise and books, or the book, the qualified life, and other books coming out in our technology format. People can go back to this video and say, not this particular video, but all our videos on YouTube and Facebook and all over the internet and our website, and say, oh, this is what these guys are talking about, right? This is the real gist of what they're talking about, not just a flippant company, or not just something that is shallow. We put a lot of years of research in it, and personally, I've invested my life into this. Everything that I have is invested, not only money, but everything, my energy, my future, everything. My son, I'm hoping, will take on the company and run it one day. Everything I have is invested in this vision and this purpose. It's what I live for. I reinvented and recreated my life. Actually, when my son was born, and he was born on Valentine's Day, and I won't say what year because we don't want his date of birth to be out there, but some of you know his age. He's still a teenager, and when he was born, I reinvented myself by God's grace. I created a new me, a new persona, and this whole life that is called qualified, and the qualified lifestyle, and I live it, right? And I pour everything I have. Those who know me will tell you all I talk about is this. Everybody who knows me will tell you that, right? This is all I talk about, and I live the life. I not to pat myself on the shoulder, but I do walk the walk, right? I don't just talk the talk. But anyway, so today we want to go into something else that is behind the qualified life. What positions the qualified life as different from whatever is out there? Because if something is out there, if there's a solution, we would run with that. We would love it. We would not go duplicate what Facebook is doing or anybody else. Not that we can, but even if we did, and we believe we're intelligent enough to do whatever anybody is doing out there, we don't see somebody as superior to us. We're equal. Every human being in this world, no matter what your background, what your even your education level, as Elon Musk is so famous for saying, you don't need to be in university or college or something. We are equal human beings, and today all our resources like knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, all that is available online at the touch of our fingertips. So we live in a different world, a different context, a different social scene, and we are all empowered, and we're all equal, and we stand on that idea. We really do. So we believe we can be a Facebook if we want to, but we don't want to because it's already being done. Whatever is already being done, why go reinvent the wheel? What we are doing here is something that is not being done. It's not being done anywhere. The future of the book is something that a lot of companies went into, including a company in England, which built a nice system, but it became research more than developing technology. Google went into the space, Amazon went into the space, looking for, because it's a huge industry. The publishing industry is still massive, right? With textbooks and different things, but publishing on the whole is still a rather lucrative industry, and that we don't preach lucrative. But I'm just saying it's still powerful. A lot of people still read. Bookstores still exist, though they're dwindling. All print stuff is dwindling, and digital media, digital books are growing very slowly because the format is still flat, gray, one-dimensional, right? E-books. It was invented in 1971, since back in 1971 by Michael Hart, and nothing was done with books since then on a grand scale. Of course, you had Al Gore with his Inconvenient Truth, which was really a breakthrough book that Apple iBooks did and made a big splash with it. But that book cost over $1 million to produce. Who's going to spend $1 million to produce a book? So we are making it easy, and it's not an easy space to break in to get into the innovation community, and people resonate with the idea. So we decided to bootstrap the whole thing, and we're running with it, myself and my shareholders, and we're going to make it. But that's our big goal. Our big goal is that every human being should have the tool and technology and empowerment to be able to write and publish their book before they die, right? That's our goal. If every human being could do that, we would see an enhanced humanity. And what Doug Engelbart calls in his paper, augmenting human intellect. Not through machines, but through our own brain, the human brain, right? That's our big goal. So we have a big purpose. When we wake up in the morning, and It's purpose, it's vision. You're driven, you want to get go. Of course, in the morning, I personally spend a lot of time reading and writing and studying, right? And delving into a spiritual groundedness. Because that's necessary. If we don't have substance, if we don't pour into us, how can I pour out into you or speak to you, right? I dare not come and say anything to you because I'm taking your time. And I need to value your time and realize that this is not some shallow thing. I have to give you substance, and therefore I have to develop that substance myself. And we should all do that, right? Our community, our friends, our family, our colleagues, the people around us deserve us to be at our best. We don't want to walk out into the world, like mediocre, mundane people. We want to, let's give everybody around us the best that we could give them. That's respecting people, the people around us. That's loving people. If you want to give them the best that you could, and you got to be the best to give them the best that you could, right? To offer something into their life that is amazing. But anyway, I'm digressing like I usually do. Today we want to talk about an important thing. So here's how the industrial age worked. I always talk about the industrial age, which is now coming to an end, and the knowledge age, which is now starting up. And the knowledge age is starting. It's a post-COVID world, and COVID is coming back, by the way. So you guys be careful. It has to, right? Because COP26 failed. One day I'm going to go into one day. You know what I'll do? Maybe this week I'll talk about why COVID happened. Because a lot of people don't realize why COVID happened. Also, I should mention, I keep going into different branches, but we'll get to the point eventually. So COVID happened for a purpose, and the reason COVID is rearing its head again with vicious monstrosity in Europe, and it's going to come to America, it's going to come to Canada. I'm prophesying that, I'm predicting that. Because one of the things that we do as well is futurism. We're all about the future, right? So one of the things that I delve in is futurism, right? I look into the works of people like Ray Kurzweil and Peter Diamond, and all the Toffler and all those guys who are futurists, right? And there's something I don't talk about a lot or put out much writing on, but eventually you will see a lot of that. We predict the future. We talk about the future of housing, the future of the economy, the future of books and reading, education, right? Entertainment, everything. We talk about it. And people who are close to me, the ones I really have real conversations with, will tell you that's how I am. That we always talk about the future. It's important. But today, we're not going to talk about the future. We got one day, maybe this week, maybe tomorrow, I'll see. We have a topic. In fact, I was supposed to have a very nice guest today, but she pulled out last minute. She got busy and businesswoman, so I can understand that. But we're going to have her on next week, and hopefully it's going to be a good show. But once we don't have a guest tomorrow, then maybe, and I can put out the topic I have listed for tomorrow, and we can discuss COVID, because COVID is coming back, and why is it happening? And the main reason is COP26 really was a failure, surprisingly, and so COVID is back on track. But we'll talk about that possibly tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow to talk about COVID and the future. Today we're going to talk about this one of the structure behind the quality life, like why the quality life. So in the industrial age, which is ran for 100 years or so, there was a mantra that developed. Hold on, let me see somebody. Oh, yeah. There was a mantra that developed that said something like this. You do something, for example, you get a job, right? You take some kind of action, any kind of action. You get a job, which is taking an action. You go work, and then you'll have the things you want, like house and car and furniture and family and all those things, because if you have a job, you have the money. So you do something, and then you have money, and then you'll be happy, right? So this was the thinking, the theory, and the lifestyle of people. I'll do something, I'll have the money that I need, and then I'll be happy, right? So I do something, I go get a job, I start working, I get an education, I get a job, and then I'll have money, and I can buy my house, buy my car, buy my furniture, buy everything that I want, buy my clothes, buy everything, and then, excuse me, once I buy everything, then I'll be how I want to be. I can go on vacation, I can be happy, I can celebrate life, right? And so the process throughout the entire industrial age. So you're looking at about, my granny was born at the starting of the industrial age in 1923. She's turning 99. She lives in Guyana in South America. She's turning 99 next year in January, and I hope I could go for her birthday, depending on COVID. And she has lived to see what, 7 or 8 generations, right? So for 7 or 8 generations, we have had people living with this process. I'll take action and do something, get education, get a job, develop myself, and then I will have what I want, which mostly is money. But then with money I can buy whatever I want. I can secure my future, my retirement and all that. And then once I do something, I have what I want, and only then, once I have what I want, could I be happy, or be peaceful, or be secure, or be anything. Here is what the process looks like. Do, have, be. I do, I have, I be. Get it? So I do a job, I do education, I do action, I take things. So I got busy in the rat race, running around, commuting, and doing. It's a big action stuff. And then I'll have whatever I want, I have, because I'm doing things, I'm having what I want to have. And then out of that having stuff, having material stuff, I will be how I want to be, right? This was the process that went on for 7, 8, 10 generations. Actually 10 generations. For 10 generations, our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, our great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents all lived like that. Believing that if I do, even back in the day when they worked farms instead of factories, in the feudal age, if I do work on the farm, raise my animals and have livestock, then I will have money to buy the things I need to buy, or to have rather the things I need to have, and then I'll be how I want to be. Now, did that work? Did it work? To some extent it worked, because the industrial age has been successful. Successful in this sense. It raised the standard of living of humanity. So we see globally, between, say, even after World War II or World War I, or even before the 2 World Wars and the Great Depression of 1920s, even before that time, from now to then, living standard is massively improved. If somebody who were living in 1921, 100 years ago, came to 2021, they would be shocked at how advanced we are, how developed we are, the kind of machines we have, the kind of comforts we have at home, the lifestyle that we live, how long we live, right? So we made tremendous progress in the industrial age. But then we hit a ceiling, we hit a plateau, and that ceiling, here's what happened with the ceiling. We started to realize that in doing, so here's something I'm going to dwell on for a bit, before we get into the future and how the future would look in terms of do, have, and be won't work anymore. And starting from now, do, have, and be would not work anymore. And I'll tell you why. Well, not tell you, I'll explain what I think is why, because I dare not give you my opinion. I can only share my opinion. By your courtesy, you listen to me and agree or disagree, right? So once I would have dealt with this do, have, be, then we're going to look at what the knowledge age throws up. The knowledge age throws up a different paradigm, right? It turns that whole thing around. And so we look into that before we wrap up. But first I want to say this. What we realize is that the world is improving with do, have, and be. You do your work, you do things, you take action, and then you have what you want, and then you be how you want. Happy or sad or peaceful. Well, happy, and you don't want to be sad. Happy and peaceful and rich, be this, be that, be healthy, whatever it is, right? But you first had to have, our thinking was, our instinct was that we have to have stuff to be even healthy, right? And you have to do before you can have. And so here I want to dwell on that for a little bit, and then we go into the what is it flipping around to into the future, right? What is it turning around into? What is the new paradigm? So first of all, Marshall McLuhan dealt with this a lot. When we are doing stuff, this is riding a wave, because a lot of people say don't dive too deep into these topics on a video live on social media, because the platform is not for this kind of thing. But it really is. You have deep stuff online. Not a lot of people consume that kind of content. But I'll go there. So Marshall McLuhan talked about the external, when we project ourselves into the external things of life. A classic is technology. So we have our phone, or the camera, or airplanes, or cars, whatever. All that is technology, right? Man is surrounded with technology. Man is swamped by technology today. And in doing what we did for the whole industrial age, starting with Henry Ford and the motor car, the Ford Motor Car Company, which was the beginning of the automobile industry in the world. What we did was we thought we would do, but one man can't do enough, right? So they extended us into machines. So we had a machine, and usually in a factory, people are operating a machine, or in an office, people operate a machine. For us, it was typewriters, or I don't know what they had before typewriters, if they had such a thing, but they had machines, all kinds of machines, pulleys and different things, whatever. The printing industry, of course, had printing presses and all those things. So we moved into a world after World War II, especially after World War I, actually. The world moved into a place of what D.H. Lawrence, he's passed away, an English poet. And D.H. Lawrence, well, he was a writer, he wrote novels as well, but he was a poet as well, and he wrote a poem back in, I don't know, when was this? I gotta check, I forget. But he wrote a poem called Machine Man. Google that poem, Machine Man by D.H. Lawrence, and you would see he talks about man being so dependent on the machine, that the machine really, man became like, there was a perspective that man became subservient to the machine, right? We were going to factories and going to work on offices and stuff to run machines. And the machine, what Marshall McLuhan said is that the machine started running us. The machine world, the machine society started running us. We think we're running them, but the machine, I mean, of course, the machine is not a thinking being, right? But you know what I mean? We became slaves to the machine culture. And that poem expresses it beautifully. But what Marshall McLuhan was saying is that the machine is external to us, it doesn't come into us. And this is one of the reasons we are so scared of robots and the robotic culture, that is now emerging. Because we think robots would take over our lives. We think robots would replace us. And so we're scared. A lot of people are very scared. I mean, they interpret it in a language that, oh, they're going to take away our jobs. Already people are scared of robots and hybrid life forms and cyborgs and all those things. Because that's the culture we live in now. AI is phenomenal. It's so powerful. And it scares us. So the point I'm getting is this. I don't want to delve into it too much, but excuse me, I need some water. When we're doing stuff that is external to us. Nothing that we do, we got to push our hands out or operate some tool or some technology to do stuff, right? Whether we're driving a car, whether we're operating a shovel or operating a computer, it's external to us. So we extend ourselves into these things that we use, these tools and technologies. And that's what Marshall McLuhan, his insight was that. He wrote a book called The Media and the Message, or the Media and the Massage, which was something, it was really insightful. But the point he made throughout his academic career, Marshall McLuhan, Google him if you have a chance, is that we extend ourselves into our tools and technologies that we use. And throughout the industrial age, and even before, when farmers were in the feudal time, before the industrial age, in the 1800s, 1700s, going back 2,000 years, farmers would of course operate machine kind of things like plows, even if uh, these animals, what do they call them, buffalo or whatever, would operate those plows in the field before tractors came into being. In operating farming machines and even a hoe or a shovel or something, you're still extending yourself into that technology. A shovel is a kind of a technology, right? To extend your hand so you can dig. So Marshall McLuhan said this about technology, just on a side note, that whenever man invented the technology, it was an extension of himself. So the plane, and this is, I mean, some of you might have read Marshall McLuhan, but those of you who haven't, it's worth looking into his work, because the airplane, the car, extends our legs. It makes us move faster, right? For example, that's just an example. Every technology, the smartphone actually extends our soul, our very soul, our emotions and everything extend outside of us. So that's what doing did to us. And Eric Fromm dealt with that a lot in his book, To Be or To Have. So we do stuff, and this is why humanity became, by the time the internet came around, which gave us so much power and to be a knowledge society, to be knowledge beings, we didn't gravitate towards knowledge in the internet age when we should have, because it's the knowledge age. But most of human beings didn't go into that. Oh, I'm gonna love knowledge. They went into entertainment, and in fact, the biggest thing on the internet became porn, right? And shallow, stupid stuff. And knowledge didn't take off. The reason knowledge didn't take off is because we had that 10 generations before us who were extending their inner being into external stuff. So we didn't. This is a profound thing. Man didn't learn how to go inside and introspect and learn from inside of him what he is or who he is. We just ignore ourselves, go numb, and of course when you are faced with yourself when you have quiet moments and stuff, the whole world went into addictions, right? Alcohol and drugs and sports. Sports is a kind of addiction. Entertainment, plop in front of a TV, watching comedy shows and watching movies, which I do a lot. Not comedy shows or movies because I love stories. But I have an excuse, and I use this excuse whether it's valid or not. I say I love stories, and I do observe these things as stories, and look into how character is built and all those things. But really, we all delve into numbing our insides, numbing ourselves, and extending ourselves into our environment, into the tools and technologies around us. That's what came out of this doing part of life. We have to be doing something, we have to be doing something, we have to be doing something, which means we have to extend our arms and legs and our thoughts and our emotions outside of us, into the tools and technologies and the environment outside of us. So that's the doing part. It kind of made us, after 10 generations, it made us, like today's humanity, people who don't introspect. That's why some of the inspirational people online now, like on Instagram, used to be monks, and they are so, including this guy from India, I don't know what his name is, Guru or something. And a lot of these guys the West loves them because they speak from the inside, right? They were able to introspect and go inside. One monk is now a millionaire because he writes books and does content online, right? Jay Shetty or something his name is. What happened to humanity was that we aborted, we castrated our soul, our inside. We didn't go there. We didn't want to go there. People who went to church and got religious, the same thing happened. You went to church, you walk into the building, and the music is going loud. They call it worship. Whatever religion you are, there was music and electricity. There wasn't quiet meditation, right? Even people who meditate, they put their mind completely blank. It's a state of numbness. It's not facing yourself. So these things inform the qualified life. This is the kind of philosophy that goes into the qualified life. So the doing part of which we deal with in a module in our course as well. The doing part of life doesn't work in today's day and age, because what it does, it makes us into what the world calls us, consumers and producers and a productive unit. We become subhuman, right? We become social insurance number. We become a number. We become a statistic. We become a census form. The humanity was lost, and we have to regain that. And so that's the doing part, what it did to us. And then this, of course, it led into having. Now, when you have stuff, exactly the same thing happens, because you go buy a new TV, or you buy a new computer, or you buy a new furniture, or you buy a new house, or a new car. You love it, you adore it, you spend so much time at the start, right? Enamored with this thing, on the border of idolizing it. You love this new thing, you're showing it to everybody. Look what I have, look what I bought, this is new, showing off the new car and all those things. And you extend yourself, we all extended ourselves into this flashy, glitzy, having stuff, right? And we go out in our house and we fill it with all kinds of stuff, so that there is a big industry now for hoarders. Even TV shows where people come and clean up people's house and their closet because there's so much stuff in it. We became in the having of stuff. We have to have stuff. We extended ourselves into the stuff that we have. We lost ourselves in the material world, right? And so the doing extended ourselves into the external environment and the tools and the technologies that we were using, the machines, the machine culture. And then having stuff, we would guard it. We would, how dare you touch my stuff? And even kids do this now. Behavior pattern happens early in life, right? So even kids would say, "This is my toy, don't you touch it," right? And we secure ourselves, and we put in alarm, and we shut out human beings who might be bad people, but human beings are suffering, and we would say, "The stuff in my building is important. I'm not going to open a room and let in a homeless person, even if they're crazy, and I can control them." I'm being extreme here, but you know what I mean. We didn't care for humanity anymore. We care for our stuff, our material stuff, and we guarded it with extreme care. We put insurance on it. We put lock and key on it. We put it in safe. We put it in safe, and some of it we call investments. Even your investment and money. It's all our jewelry, everything. It's all stuff that we have. Now all the stuff that we have, we extend ourselves into it, we lose ourselves into it, but we expect, and this is the tragedy of the industrial age, despite it flowering out, human and really blossoming, human creativity and standard of living and all those things, what it did not do was deliver to us what we hope it would deliver, which is our being happy, being peaceful, being secure. It didn't do those things. We expect that if we do certain stuff, we have certain stuff, we would be a certain way. And more often than not, that doesn't happen. You walk around the world and ask the average human being, do a survey around you in your own circle, and ask them authentically. You're not saying, are you happy? And they give you, oh yeah, I'm happy. How are you doing? Oh, I'm okay. No, not that kind of thing. Real authentic conversation. Look the people around you in the eye and say, can I ask you a real question, and I want a real authentic answer. Are you happy? Are you really, really peaceful? And not everybody, but the majority of people would say, if they're really authentic, they would say, you know what, I'm not really happy. Most humans are, you ask them what they want, and most people, of course they don't think the answer true, but most people would say, I want to be happy. I just want to be happy. 7.9 billion people on this planet, and most answers when you ask, what do you want in life? I want to be happy. Some would say, I want to have security, I want to be secure, or I want to be peaceful or something. But most people say, I want to be happy. So they do all that they do, work till 65 to retire, they have all that they want, over and above needs and wants, and lot of unnecessary stuff, and yet they're not happy. Us, me included. I'm not talking about others, I'm talking about us, human beings. Human nature is what I'm talking about. So I just wanted to go through that. When you're doing stuff, there's a consequence to it. You lose yourself in the externals, right? And this is proven by the academic work of people like Marshall McLuhan. And then once you have stuff, you surround yourself, you're home, you have your sofa, you have your TV, and you have all this stuff in your house, and you hug it and you love it. Nobody dares come in and touch it or take one. You go to the police and you jail them for life if you do it. Right? Stuff became important to us. Material stuff became important to us. More than people, more than human beings. And I'm speaking generally, excuse me, I'm speaking generally. But I'm making a point about what happened to human nature when we live the life of do, and then we would have, and then we would be. Right? And this is coming out of life coaching. It's not something I came up with. I didn't originate this thing. It's life coaching. This kind of teaching or coaching is what it is, or mentoring is popular, right? Life coaches will tell you that. Now, so that doesn't work. What works? What works? We're moving into the knowledge age. We're moving. Let me see. I got a message in case there's something wrong with the audio, because I don't hear the audio, right? When the live stream is going through. Okay, it's good. Thank you, Mano. Appreciate it. So, when we live the way the past 10 generations have lived in this day and age, how could it work? It's a different age, right? It's a different paradigm. It's a different society, especially post-COVID. So what works? What works? They say millennials, especially with housing prices, what it is, especially in Canada and America. They say millennials are the younger people. They I guess, the adult generation now. I'm not for millennials and Generation X and Generation Y. We don't package people like that. I'm not like that. But for the sake of argument, let's say they're the adults today. We can lump them in a group called millennials, which I would never do. Those people, they say, are not following in the path of their parents. Their parents were people who grew up, went to school, got a conformist education where they conform to everything. They don't question anything, no critical thinking really. And then they go get a job, and they spend their life working at job, if not one job, several jobs, right? And they build a nest egg for when they actually have such a term and a phrase, a nest egg. Can you believe it? A human being say, I need my nest egg for when I retire. And they retire at 60 something or 70 or whatever age they retire, or early retirement in the 50s. And they do some traveling and they do some 2 weeks vacation or whatever. And they call that life. So the millennials are saying, we don't want that. We're gonna travel now when we're young. Not me, of course, I'm not a millennial, I'm older than that. But the young adults today, the people who are now in their 20s and 30s, I guess, I don't know what the age of millennials are, but around 20s to 30s, they're saying now, we need to travel. Of course, COVID is messing that plan up, right? But they want to backpack around the world. They want to live the life of, the retirement life. And a lot of them are starting internet business. There's even a book called The Laptop Economy or something like that, where people you can make your living on your laptop from anywhere in the world. And COVID has proven that, right? A lot of people work from home. So now you can travel with your laptop once you have Wi-Fi. You can work from anywhere. And you can do your YouTube channel, and now Facebook has Creative Studio and all those things. And of course with us, with our Sims book and our Quality Life, that's what it is. You travel wherever, you work from wherever you want, right? Not really work, but you have this lifestyle that is sustained by this business model that works, right? But what I'm getting at is that the millennials are starting to see that what the way humanity lived for 10 generations didn't really, today it doesn't work anymore. Maybe it worked in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, maybe the 80s, maybe the 90s. But now it doesn't work anymore. Not with the global village, not with the internet, not with this way things are. Nobody's going to spend 40 years in a factory or an office or a job. The new generation is not going to do that. So what's going to be the future? What are we moving into? So if we're moving away from this, extending ourselves into doing stuff, and a lot of people still, especially business people, they still go online and they say the secret to success is taking action. Can you believe that? People are saying the secret to success is taking action. Most of humanity took action for 40, 50, 60 years working at a job, and they still didn't become successful in terms of any measure of success, right? Most of them end up after 40 years and they're too sick. Or they still have mortgage, or they still have to get a car and need extra, not a fixed income, but extra income. And now, I was talking to somebody, who was it I was talking to? I can't remember, but somebody was telling me a story that in Canada and America, a big percentage of the population are actually boomers, what they call boomers. Again, this generational thing, which I don't buy into. But they're older people, they're going into their 70s and their 80s. And within 5 to 10 years, a lot of these people would need nursing homes. And they would need care, right? But they're still living in their houses because they were like 60s, late 60s and stuff. They still have their house and their, what they work 40 years for, right? From their 20s to now. And the millennials, who are your children or grandchildren maybe, are thinking, they're going to inherit these things. And that's not going to happen because these people need the money for their care, because they're going to live long because of technology and healthcare, revolution in healthcare. So they're going to live there maybe 15, 20 years, and they need nursing care in a nursing home, for any real level of care is, it's expensive. Some places as much as $7,000. And if you have to pay for a nurse or a assistant nurse or somebody to come and take care of these old people in your home, it's expensive, right? It's an expensive proposition. So they have to take their wealth and take care of their health in their old age. So that's what happened, right? That's the result, that's the impact of living this way, of saying we'll live a life of doing stuff, of taking action, and then we'll have what we want. And once we have what we want, we got to change and upgrade every so often. Like you got to upgrade all your apps on your phone and everything. Because once you have something, it doesn't, the way life is today, the way they manufacture stuff, the lifespan is very short. You got to keep changing it. So have is a constant thing. It's a treadmill. And it's a vicious circle. And then we never be how we want to be, even older people. Right? They're worried about their health. They're worried about their old age. They're worried about their wealth. What they will do with it. If it will be wasted by their generations, That's human nature. And all these things we take into consideration with the quality of life. Believe it or not, all of it. And that's why this is what we do. So here we go. What is the future going to be? Not the future going to be, what the future is, because it starts from now, right? What is the future if we don't want to live anymore? Doing and then having and then being, what is the way we should do it, right? And here is the way. And this is based on life coaching principles. We switch the formula around. Instead of doing and then we have and then we'll be happy or peaceful or whatever, or rich or whatever, we decide, and we talked about this in a show I think a couple of weeks ago, but we decide, we make a decision in our own heart, and we walk you through that process in our training program. We make a decision in our own heart how we want to be in the moment now. In the present moment, we say, no matter what is going on in my life, no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what challenges or obstacles there are, I'm going to choose intentionally, with courage and belief and faith, and with love for myself, because you got to be kind to yourself, right? I'm going to choose how I'm going to be today. And how I'm going to choose, I might not choose to be happy, but I'm going to choose to be peaceful. I'm going to choose to be joyful. I'm going to choose to be kind and good and all those things. I'm going to make that choice in the moment, right now. This is who I'm going to be. And once I make that choice, let's say I choose to be in abundance, which is a big deal with us, right? Because of the wealth part of our pillars that we say to the individual. You need wealth, which is abundance. You need an abundance mindset. You need a wellness mindset, which is health. Excuse me. You need a worthiness mindset, so you have to live with values and ethics and all those things. And you need a wisdom mindset, that you live for enlightenment and all those things. But those 4 W's that we actually publish in our magazine, as sections in the magazine, the Millionaire Mindset magazine, those things we put you through a program that you become, they become embedded in you. So you wake up in the morning and you choose in the moment to be in abundance, which is wealth. So you choose to be wealthy. You're walking in it. You believe in it. Your bank account might not reflect it, but abundance has nothing to do with your bank account. It's a mindset. It's how you see life. And I'll show you what I mean. I'll show you the difference between having a mindset of waking up, I gotta do, I have to do, I have to do, I have to do, and being in this frenetic activity and constantly in activity. And at the end of the day, I'm so exhausted, I'm so tired, I'm so fatigued, I can't even have a discussion with my children, or I can't sit and read a book, or I can't think. I can't even self-examine my life because I'm so tired. Activity, 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 right? Instead of that, we switch it around and we say, I'm going to choose in this moment to be how I want to be. I'll be in abundance. And that's a mindset thing. And I'm going to walk out of this place into the world, into the public, with a mindset of abundance. And I'm going to be healthy. I might not be healthy, I might be in a hospital bed, but if I decide in my mind, this is with intention, that I'm going to make a decision right now that I'm a healthy person, guess what? It only takes time for it to be manifested, because in your mind, in your imagination, in your being, in your spirit, it's already happened. And that's what walking in being is all about. A way of being. So we say to everybody that we deal with, the most important thing is your way of being. So when I talk to people, or people come into our company, we ask some questions. We actually, I call it testing, but I shouldn't call it testing. But we have conversations with people. And what we are looking at is, we might ask them what they do and stuff like that, as shallow conversation. But at some point, questions will come up to say, whoever I deal with, to probe. I wouldn't ask them what is your way of being, because they don't know, right? That's something that most likely is in the space of, I don't know what I don't know. So a lot of people don't know their way of being. It's a hidden thing. It's a worldview thing. It's a presuppositional thing. But in asking a couple of questions, you can find out generally somebody's way of being, right? Like if they have a poverty mentality, or if they're not happy, or they're not peaceful, or whatever it is, right? The way of being is important, and way of being is, a whole bunch of stuff. Our way of being is how we are being, right? And so we ask questions and try to gauge where people are in terms of their way of being, because the most important thing in life is way of being. And you choose how to, that's a choice. Like when people say you have a choice in life, the ultimate choice that you have is how you're being, your way of being, how you're approaching life, how you're approaching people, how you're approaching yourself, how you are approaching the universe. So being, I'm going to just deal with these four. Being in abundance. You wake up every day and you say, I'm going to be in abundance today. Nothing is going to cause me to waver. Nothing is going to threaten that. Because it's integrity. I'm going to align with that purpose. That I have a way of being that is in abundance. And whatever I do today, I'm going to believe that that's where my life is heading, in abundance. And I'm going to be healthy. No matter what, I'm going to be in wellness today. And it's a daily choice, right? It's the ultimate thing we have is choice. And this is the ultimate choice we can make in our own self. How am I being? And then I'm going to be in intelligence and enlightenment and wisdom. That's the path I'm going to walk. When I sit in the train, or when I'm in a waiting room or something, if there's something to read, I'm going to pick it up and read it. That 5 minutes I spend waiting, I'm going to be a little more enlightened than before I went into that place. For example, right? But if you choose to make your day, today I'm going to be a bit more enlightened than I was yesterday, or a bit more wise, or a bit more insightful, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and you walk in that, and my way of being is that. You become a different person over time. And then of course worthiness. Your value system. Whenever you wake up in the morning and get out of bed, instead, a lot of people say, oh, this affirmation and that affirmation, and you tell yourself nice things, and you would attract money and all those things. No. Don't even wake up thinking about money. Think about, what is my way of being? And values and ethics and morals, those are important things. Oh, you know what? I kept the heat running again, and I forgot, and I'm nearly over. I hope the background noise is not being picked up by the microphone. The microphone is so sensitive. The heat is going, I just heard it through the vent. But anyway, I hope you're not hearing it. As a background humming, monotonous thing, which I don't know. Anyway, so way of being, we wake up. So part of the qualified life is we train you. There's a training program. We train you that you walk in a way of being that is in abundance or wealth, is in wellness or health, is in wisdom or enlightenment, and is in worthiness or social values. Values that are kindness and goodness and all those things. And so that way of being is important. You gotta exercise that. You gotta build up those muscles. And you wake up and start today, not what am I gonna do today, but how am I gonna be today? And in out of the way you're being would come the things you're doing, right? So if I'm being up in abundance, I won't choose to do something, to do activity that would align with lack of abundance, or lack of health, or lack of enlightenment, right? I wouldn't go hang out to the street corner or waste 2 hours. I do those 2 hours if I'm walking and saying I'm going to be in insightful and in enlightenment. I'm going to be an enlightened being. Then I would do something to make that happen. Do you get my point? And so out of me waking up every day and choosing intentionally this path, which is the design life and put us on the design life and altering our future, then I choose how to be. And if I choose a way to be, then whatever I do comes out of that. And even if you have a job that doesn't align with your way of being, that job is temporary. Trust me. It's only a matter of time before you manifest how your way of being. And one day we'll delve into how this is the metaphysical or the spiritual world is way more real than the physical world. And we are going to see that blatantly when the metaverse comes out, that the internet world, and even now we see that the world of the internet is more real than the physical world. People who are trading Bitcoin and cryptocurrency are now average guys who are trading NFTs. And girls, of course. They're making far more money than people who work at hedge funds and banks and stuff like that. Because that's the real world now. The digital world is more real than the physical world. Same thing with spiritual. Spiritual world is way more real than physical world. So being is more real and more powerful it is than doing. The way of being should dictate what you're doing, not doing dictate what you have. That whole paradigm has to change. So if we choose a way of being, and then it would determine what we're doing in life, what the choices that we make, including our job and who we hang out with and what kind of conversation we have and all those things. And out of what you do, then you would have what you want. So in other words, before, for the past 10 generations of the industrial age, and even before into feudal times, thousands of years, man live with this. You do, and then you have, and then you'll be. You do your work, you have money, and then you'll be happy. This new world we're living in, and we're wrapping up now, this new world we are living in has changed all that. Now, out of our way of being, we do what we need to do, or what we enjoy doing, we live our purpose, and then we have the life that we want, that we dream of. We live the dream life. You get it? Being, doing, and then having. Not doing, having, and being. So let me say that again. Instead of a life of doing, like getting a job or working, then I have stuff, then I'll be happy. So doing a job, having stuff, or money, let's go with money, doing a job, having money, being happy. That's what happened before, in the past. Now, as we embark on a new future, which I call the knowledge age, the new way to be, the new way to live, the new process of life, which informs the qualified life, it's what the qualified life is all about, is you first of all go into a state of being. Your way of being is where you start. And that will determine what you do, the things that you do, your job and everything else. So out of being, doing, and then you have the life that you want, the dream life. So being, then doing, then having, instead of doing, having, and being. You get it? I hope that makes sense. I enjoyed today's talk show. Well, I don't know if it's a talk show, if it's one person, we need a guest, right, to make it a talk show. But it is a talk show, I mean, even if it's monotonous voice going over and over. But this is an important point, this is an important video, and it's always going to be there so whoever comes on to the Qualbed Life, they need to know this. This is a crucial part of the Qualbed Life, of designing the life that you love, of authoring your future, and of designing the life that you think is possible. So thank you, have a good evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, take care, bye-bye.